Hello and welcome to another episode of Nightcap with Nightcat, the kitsch-minded show where we talk about toys, boys, and life's other joys. I am your host, Nightcat. Thank you so much for being here. Episode 18. Let me tell you what's coming up for you. We're going to talk about this roller coaster that got stuck 200 feet in the air and how they had to get those poor people down because guess what? I would have just died up there. That's all coming up in the litter box, and then we're going to dive into some sunken treasure. We're going to play with some toys and stuff that I find at the thrift store. This is the Crocodile Hunter Board Game. I can't wait to show you how it works. It's crazy. And then NIGHTCAT Classic Tales. I've got a little clip to show you of maybe the most scared I've ever been in my entire life. But before we get into any of that, I want to talk about a picture that I'm sure you've seen already, but it's maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So the first family, President Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden, went to visit a former first family, President Jimmy Carter and his wife. And they did this little meet and greet and it was cute. And then they took a picture. Oh my gosh, why are the Bidens so much bigger than the Carters? Because here's the thing. The Carters look like they're in proportion to the room. Like, if it was just them, I would say, oh yeah, that's just regular sized furniture in a regular sized room. But in proportion to the Bidens in there for scale, I think the Carters might be hobbits because they're itty bitty and the furniture is itty bitty. Even the pictures are hung like if Joe Biden stood up, those pictures would be butt height. They would be looking straight at his booty, those pictures would be. So I can't tell what's real here. I don't know if it's the Carters that are really tiny or if it's the Bidens that have secretly been giants. Why don't you let me know in the comments what you think? Do you think that the Carters are the tiny ones, or do you think that the Bidens are the big ones, or do you have a completely different conspiracy theory? I want to hear it. Throw it down in the comments of this video. By the way, absolutely a real photograph. It was not photoshopped. How do we know that? Because it was put out by the Carter Center on Twitter. It is an official presidential photo from the Carter Center. Look how big they are! It's hysterical! It's just the best thing I've ever seen. I don't know why putting something abnormally large next to something abnormally tiny is just always the cutest thing ever, but I love it. Precious. I think it's time then for us to jump into some stupid news. Let's get into the litter box.
Ew, what stinks in here?
The litter box is the part of the show where I dive through the stupid news and I only bring back the best stuff, the pearls at the bottom of the trash ocean, which at this point, considering how much trash is in our oceans, is just the ocean. I want to tell you one of the scariest things that I think could ever happen to me. I don't do roller coasters. I am not an adrenaline junkie. I hate going fast. I hate falling. I hate all of it. It is just not a good time for me. And everyone's just like, oh, what are you afraid you're gonna fall? These are so safe. I'm like, no, I just genuinely don't like the feeling of my stomach falling through my butt as I shriek in terror. I don't understand why you people are so into it. Britain's tallest roller coaster, the big one, got stuck last week at the very peak with the car loaded full of people. Take a look at this. It's bonkers. So there they are. They're all stuck there. They're like, how are we getting down? You know how they got down? They had to walk down a freaking metal staircase on the side of the track 213 feet down. Now, the big one, when it was constructed in 1994, was the world's tallest roller coaster. We now have the biggest one in New Jersey at Six Flags. It's like double that height, but 213 feet straight down, these people walked on a metal staircase where they could look into death the entire time. Never getting on a roller coaster. And if you ask me why, while I'm at Lagoon or wherever you people try to drag me to, that's why. Right there. Look how scary. No, thank you. Animal rescuers in Iowa were called to an apartment complex because residents found probably around a 5-foot long alligator in their parking lot. Residents woke up, they were going out to work or whatever it is they were doing, and there's the gator just hanging out, catching some rays, a 5-foot long reptile. So they call animal rescuers. And animal rescuers are like, this is Iowa. We don't deal with a lot of alligators. How are we gonna do this? They responded to the call, they got there, they find the animal, and they slowly approach it, only to find it was no alligator. Well, it was kind of. It was a stuffed animal. It was just a giant 5-foot long stuffed animal that that somebody had thrown it away, I'm assuming. I don't know why you would. Look how great he is. How could you throw him away? That's ridiculous. Animal control officers did take him. He is now safely in their possession, according to their Facebook page. I hope they build him like a genuine alligator habitat and you just throw, like, I don't know, do they make little plushy stuffed chunks of meat or something you could throw at him? I love it. I think it's cute. He should be their new mascot, quite frankly. And again, animal control in Iowa. How often are you running into gators? Why is it your mascot? Look how handsome. That's why. And finally, firefighters are known to save cats from trees, but these firefighters had a little bit of a different rescue on their hands when a dog who was left alone in the car kicked the car into neutral on accident and started rolling down the street. Witnesses say the dog was completely alone. Someone probably left their dog in, ran into the store real quick. By the way, we've done a story exactly like this on this show before, so hey, maybe just double check that your e-brake is pulled if you're gonna leave your dog or your kids in the car. But the car starts rolling down the street, and everyone calls fire department instead of, I don't know, trying to stop it. Fire department shows up. They were able to put the vehicle to a stop and rescue the dog. I cannot wait when Hollywood gets their grubby little paws on it and Sandra Bullock stars as that dog rolling down the street, just like the Speed franchise. Speed 4. Unless Speed 4 is already a movie, in which case Speed 5 or whatever the next Speed is. Sandra Bullock plays this Canadian dog as it rolls down a hill. $1 million idea. $1 billion idea. Call the people at Marvel. They need to hear about this. And that is the LITTERBOX. Let's play with something. Let's just chill and have a good time and play a game together. Let's get into some Sunken Treasure. Sunken Treasure is the part of the show where we dig through my toy collection and we play with something awesome! This week we're playing with a particularly awesome game. Here's the thing. I got this game for $3 at the thrift store. I left the tag on there that says $3 because you know how much I love a thrift brag. This is the Crocodile Hunter Board Game from 1999. Hasbro Milton Bradley put it out. It is so much fun. I've been goofing off with it all day. I actually haven't had a chance to build it until I started getting it ready for recording. In case you don't remember, which how could you? He's an angel. He's perfect, unforgettable, legendary even. This is Steve Irwin. He was a wildlife TV host. He ran the Australia Zoo out in Australia, and he had the best show on Animal Planet where he just went out into the wilderness and he found animals and he scooped them up and he gave them lots of cuddles, and it was the best. Even when they bit him, he was always really cool. He would just go, "Oh, crikey, you simmer down." Get ready for a lot of fake Australian accents this time. I'm not good at it, and I'm sorry if I offend you, Australia, but like, you offend me all the time. Here's why this game is so rad. Pow! I'd like to introduce you to Agro. Now, Agro is one of their enormous saltwater crocodiles at Australia Zoo, and he got his very own board game. Here's basically how you play the game. You draw a card, move 5 spaces ahead. So you would take your little player, boop, 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 and move them 5 spaces. The first player to go around the board is the winner. Now, here's where it gets really complicated. If you draw one of the cards with a picture of a crocodile on it, I should have had one of these ready. There we go. And that card says, danger, danger, danger. Guess what, honey? Agro's coming, and he's not playing around. Now, you keep moving around this board. If Agro hits you, oh, you're safe because you're in the barrel. If Agro hits you like this, we'll just do that for him. Oh, tough cookies for you. That's how Agro talks, I imagine. I imagine Agro, even though he's got a real Agro name, he's just like, hey guys, what are you doing in here? Let me displace you for a minute. I just want to get you out of my cage. I'm hungry and you look appetizing, and I don't want this to go anywhere it doesn't need to go. The interesting thing about this game is that it's just basically a reskinned version, a branded version of a game that is very similar that came out 5 years before this one called Fraidy Cats. Now there it is. There's the dog, and instead of playing as Steve and Terry, you would play as cats, and instead of a crocodile, you'd be trying to get away from this dog by running around the fence. Isn't that so cute? I kind of need to track down a copy of Fraidy Cats now. It's just the most precious. Not that I would trade this one in for the entire world. It is pretty beat up. It was pretty hammered. Some of these fence posts are sort of wobbly and not sticking up, but considering that it is a 22-year-old game and I got it for $3, we're gonna chalk that up as a win, baby. And that is Sunken Treasure. I think it's time now to dive into the traumatizing things from my past with another Nightcat Classic Tale. Classic Tale. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. 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 Classic Tale. Nightcat Classic Tales is the part of the show where I tell you something traumatizing that happened to me, because usually it's pretty funny because I'm either terrified or embarrassed in every one of these stories. Most of the time, I'm both. This happened just a couple of years ago. I was working in radio, and doing that, you get certain perks, certain cool things come with doing that job. And one of those was that we did a live broadcast from a military base here in Utah, and we got to do the Soldier for a Day program. And there were cool things about that, like the VR shooting range. That was rad. But there were a bunch of things that I did not think were so cool, including rappelling, which I'm not a fan of heights. We discussed this when we talked about roller coasters. I do not like going high or fast. It's just the two things that I don't want my body, those are the two motions I don't want my body in. I don't want them up there, and I don't want to go faster than God intended me to go, okay? Unless I'm traveling on the freeway, in which case get out of my way. So I'm belting in, I'm getting attached to the rope, and they're gonna send me down this giant tower as I rappel. And right before I start climbing up, a truck pulls up, and they're like, hey, the Black Hawk helicopter, which is something that we had planned on doing. We were going to take a Black Hawk helicopter ride around the valley. The helicopter cannot take off unless we have 2 more passengers. We need people to go right now, otherwise we're going to miss it. So me and a buddy are like, thank you. We take off our harnesses, we hop in the back of this truck, and we zip over to the helicopter. Now, what I was expecting was a pleasant ride around. They said, oh, we're gonna go look at the copper mines. You can see the copper mines from above. It's really cool. You're gonna see a view of the city you've never seen before. They neglected to mention that we would be part of an aerial stunt show, essentially, and we missed the safety briefing because we were up goofing around on the ropes course. The helicopter's rotors are already going. We are heading up there, and everyone is shouting at us, and they were like, you don't get motion sick, right? And I go, not usually, no. And they were like, okay, great, here, have a seat, buckle in. So I get seated, and we buckle in, we take off, and I'm nervous, but as long as it's like a gentle ride, everything will be fine. And then suddenly, we shoot up, and then immediately down. Nobody told me we would be doing that. I thought we were actually going down, and I started screaming. It was a deep guttural. I think my ancestors, the spirit of my ancestors, channeled their voices through me, and 1,000 generations of Jackson Carter came spewing out as I screamed for my life. It was horrifying. Here is a TikTok that I posted. So here we are, everyone's having fun, hovering lightly. Oh, everyone except for me, who is not having any fun at all, and is just hoping that this entire day will end as quickly as it started. I'm so sorry, buddy. Look at his face. Look at that cute face. He's terrified. How could you do this to him? That is NIGHTCAT Classic Tales. I think it's time to tuck you little night kittens into bed with some warm milk. More milk, good news stories to help you get to sleep. This is just the best story I think I might have ever heard. Turtle-sniffing dogs. They're a real thing, and they were recently brought in to help conservationists save a turtle population in St. Louis. It's a program through the St. Louis Zoo. It's the St. Louis Zoo Wild Care Park. A disease known as ranavirus has been spreading among the three-toed box turtle population that they've been monitoring and taking care of. Now here's the really scary part. Ranavirus has, or Rana, might be Rana, I don't know, but it has an 80% fatality rate. If you get it, it could kill you if you're a turtle. I don't think humans can catch it. So the scientists that work at the Wild Care Park needed to figure out how they could catch all of these turtles and test them and get them tagged and monitor them. And they do this sort of thing often where they take a bunch of scientists out to the field and they poke around and they look for box turtles, but the thing is, turtles are excellent hiders. So with humans out there, you're only gonna catch a small selection of them. Enter the Turtle Whisperer. His name is John Rucker and his team of 7 turtle-sniffing dogs. My gosh! So these spaniels are very specially trained to sniff out turtles. And they go looking for them, and they're able to dig them up and let people know, like, hey, there's a turtle here. They'll scoop them up even very gently, and they'll bring them over to the team that they're working with. Look how gentle he's being. I can't even handle it. I love a dog with a job. Dogs' noses are just very, very specific, and they're able to pinpoint things that humans just aren't able to. So they're able to quickly catch as many of the turtles as the dogs can sniff out, which is probably a lot of them. They're tagging them, they're testing them, and they're making sure that they can get a handle on that ranavirus outbreak that's going on out there, because it could kill off all of Missouri's state turtle. That's their state reptile. Did you know that our state reptile is the Gila monster? Even though there are probably like 100 Gila monsters that live in Utah, they mostly live down in Arizona. But that's a fun fact for you. And that is Nightcap with Nightcat, episode 18. Thank you so much for watching. If you get the chance, if you have a little extra cash, would you mind checking out my Patreon real quick? Patreon.com/NightCatShow. This is how I'm making it by. This is how I am making Nightcap with Nightcat, the morning announcements. I'm making it all happen because of the support I'm getting from you on Patreon. If you have anything that you can donate, I've got 2 membership tiers, $3 and $5. If you can donate more, that would be awesome. But if you have anything that you can spare, it would really help keep this show going strong. And this has been such a fun passion project for me. I love doing this all the time. And I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I enjoy making it. Don't forget to check out the NIGHTCAT Radio Podcast, NIGHTCAT Radio Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, because we drop all of the audio from these episodes, Nightcap with Nightcat, as well as the morning stream, Morning Announcements, and every Friday, a brand new true crime episode called Curiosity Killed Nightcat. All of it available on the NIGHTCAT Radio Podcast. Look for it on your favorite podcast directory, or click the link tree in the description of this video. It'll say linktr.ee/JacksonWitt. If you click on that, it will take you to the podcast, subscribe to the channel, or anywhere else you might want to go, including my TikTok page. My TikTok page is lit. You should go check it out. I will see you tomorrow if you watch Morning Announcements, or I'll see you next week for another Nightcap with Nightcat. Bye!